This morning's project is going to be taking these panels out. And the reason why is when this thing's parked outside in the evening, the gas tank shades this panel, the tailgate shades this panel, so they are both shaded at the same time, which really cuts down on the power. So if I want to be able to listen to the radio in the evening and not have it run down the battery, I need to move these panels to the inside at an angle where the panels are up against here and going down in the center like that. And that'll keep the sun on the panel as long as possible, and both of them will not be shaded. Even though the other one's going to be facing the wrong direction, that way it still will not be completely shaded. But the problem is these are two different types of panels, so they're not going to meet up right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the panels out of the Dodge, and let's see what we're working with here. These are both the same type panels as far as size. So 53 inches, a little less than 53. I know I have plenty of length, so that's not the problem. So 53 is going to be our goal here. So what are we working with here? I know they're gonna have to be at an angle, but just barely. So yeah, we're looking at 53 right here. It's really kind of sucks that they don't. Well, really, if they're in an angle, they'll be shaded less. So 53 is right here. So they're going to be at a slight angle to fit in between here, but that's going to work. Let's see, as far as our length here, this one's about the same. So we'll be able to start it right here where the gas tank starts, which will be perfect. So that's what I'm going to work on this morning. And then I'm probably going to take off the two front tires and get some new tires for the front. And this left one has a slow leak, so I'll probably take that one off and get that slow leak fixed. So that's the project so far. I got the panels out of the Dodge. It's kind of a race against the clock here, because as the sun gets overhead, they get hotter and hotter. So I got them out of there before they got too hot to handle, so I didn't have to put gloves on. They're up against the house there. Now I'm going to take these out. We're going to put them in, and we're going to do an amp test. Like I said, they were getting about 13 amps to 12 amps to 10 amps-ish. Depends on the time of the day. So yesterday when I was cleaning the side of the house here, I disturbed some red wasp nests. So they are not happy with me right now. Haven't been bit yet. But I didn't get to finish clearing that because I'm going to, of course, clean all this up. Get rid of what I don't need. Need to get rid of those window units. But yeah, there's a nest somewhere in here, and they're not happy with me, so they're kind of buzzing my head today. I got the panels out of the Dodge. We're going to need these Y adapters. I'm going to end up putting one panel in the Dodge for now. Something a little more modern and not so heavy. And I'm going to tie it to the top of the spare tire so it shades the spare tire as much as possible, and it stops it from dry rotting more than it already is. I've got the panels out of the 65. The panels that are going in the 65 are right here. You can see they're a little bit newer or less used. The ones I took out. This one in the front is a Mitsubishi panel, and this is kind of a no-name panel. This is the same brand of panel that I'm putting back in, but you can see how much more used or faded. This one is pretty old. I'd love to find a date code on this. I'm going to have to put MC4s on the cable because I didn't have MC4s on that. I just had wire nuts, so that's going to take a little bit. But in a second, we will see the panels in the truck. So let's see what we can find to run across there. I looked earlier for wood. I got some of this stuff here. I don't know how long it is. That for bracing, to brace the two bottom panels together. And then I found this on my property, fell out of the back of somebody's truck. I'm always finding stuff. Wonder if this is long enough. This is aluminum. I don't know what this was used for. Looks like they were working concrete with it or something. And let's see if it'll reach. Well, looky there. So is this thing where I can put something in there? So there's wood in here. I probably put that wood in there. I was working on a project. So what I'm going to end up doing is knocking these caps out. We'll knock that cap out there and take that wood off of that side. That way I can run wire through here. I'll run wire through that so it doesn't go here or there, so it'll keep it stable. And I can actually elevate it if I wanted to make the panels go up higher if I need to. And I think that's going to work out good. That's going to be strong enough to hold those panels. I could run it like that to make it stronger, and I might do that. That'll also elevate them, so that's probably going to be what I'm going to do. That has a little bit of a bow, and there's where your strength is. So I'm going to run it like that for sure. I just got to take the end cap out of that and get the wood out of that side. And that's going to be our main bridge bracing for the panels. That's going to be the load bearing structure, and the rest I can do with the wire. So that's going to work out pretty good. Still haven't had to go to the hardware store. So the next time you might see the panels in the truck. As you can see, I'm still in the gathering material stage, and this is what I scored. So I'm probably going to end up using this instead because I won't have to run wire all the way across like I would this one. I could always drill holes in here and put some pipe through it, some rubber line, so it doesn't fray the cable. But I'm going to use this instead. It's actually stronger when it's laying this way than if this one was laying this way. I know I could prop this one up, but I'll use this somewhere else. So that's going to go over here for now. And we can use that maybe to brace the back or the front. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And this will be the main bridge going across. And of course we can't elevate this bridge much more than that, but that's fine. I don't want the panels to really stick up too high. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. I got more stuff I found here. This is all stuff that I can use for this project. I want to do this. I've put panels in here twice, but I've temporarily, I just put them in there and wired them down. I knew it was temporary, but now I'm getting serious. And why do I need so much power is the question, right? Well, I put in a system, and I'm probably going to put in more. And I want to be able to sit there while I'm doing a live stream in the truck at the park and not have the truck running to do the live stream. So if it's a kind of a cloudy day, you're going to need more panels. If I'm jamming the system out and I'm not doing a live stream, I'm going to need more power. I don't want to have the truck running. And I got these panels, so why not do it? So the fact that I'm doing this bridge and this bracing, I might be able to put 3 panels back in here. So I can put these all the way in the back, the first 2, and then have another one going across here. I just don't want it to block when I have to pull the tank out to, fill it up if I don't want to go to the gas station. That's the cool thing about having that fuel cell. It's got a handle on the front. It's got a quick disconnect. So you undo the strap, pop the quick disconnect, and you grab it. And then you can go fill it up. So I might be putting 3 panels in here today instead of just 2. And that will give me for sure close to maybe 15 amps. Getting up there to 15 amps, which would be really nice. So that's it for now. When I was gathering building materials for this project, there's a reason why people wear shoes. So I had a piece of wood drop right there on my toe, right there. I got lucky that it wasn't falling very far, but I'm going to, while I'm working on this project with wood and sharp objects, I'm going to slip on these house shoes. They're really big, but they just slip right on, just for a little added safety there. So yeah, OSHA showed up, knocked on my door whenever that happened, and I had to deal with that for about 20 minutes. So that was a delay of game when OSHA was knocking on the door when I cut my toe. So they said put some house shoes on, so I stepped it up a notch. This is what I got so far. This is working out pretty good. So I use this rubber mat stuff to cushion so the metal's not flopping around on the metal, so when I go over bumps it's not clanking. And I'm going to do my best to isolate anything from clanking back and forth. So I got that tied up there, and it's just going to be setting right here. This wire that's holding this is just to stop it from sliding forward and backward. And then I tied these rubber isolators on with the Cat 5 wire, and this is the stronger wire. Did the same thing on the other side. Now I got all these other building materials to pick from. So we got our main support bridge right here. Like I was saying, might be able to put 3 panels in here instead of just 2, but we're going to have 2 going this way for now. My biggest challenge is there's no holes back here at all to tie anything to, and I don't want to drill any more holes in the truck. So far I've done everything without drilling holes, and I really don't want a thing hanging over the back here. So I have a little issue here how I'm going to prop up the back, so I'm probably going to have to support it from the bottom here, and I'll probably do that with some of this aluminum, and I'll have a riser coming up here in the front, and then, or in the back, and then in the front I can go across here. I'll figure it out. In a perfect world I'd have 3 of these just going across, and they would be long enough to fit in this ridge right here. If I had some wood that was long enough, but I don't, I want to use what I got. Or even PVC pipe to fit on this ridge, but then I'd have to secure it from sliding back and forth somehow. A 2x6 would work because I wouldn't have to worry about it sliding so much. I'm going to go look in my wood pile. I hate to put wood in this project, but that's what would really work good right now, is a piece of wood going across the back here and across the front. But the biggest problem I'm running into then is I'll have to space it because this is elevated from that ridge. So I'm going to keep working and see what I come up with. So when I took the other panels out, of course it's cloudy, but I saw this thing hit over 5 amps with a hot solar panel. And I got the lights on, that's why it's dinging. So this is the Dodge 5.17, 5.39. I'm just seeing what I'm going to be getting, 5.6. This has nothing to do with the 65 Chevy. 5.8, 5.82. That's about all I'm going to see out of that panel. It's a 100-watt panel, and I'll show you which one it is. Alright, so 5.82 is a good number. So I turn the headlights off, and it's this panel right here. It's a Renogy. It's the kind of like the split cell version. Renogy 100-watter. So I don't know if you can see that, but they call it a 100-watt panel. I don't know if you can see the part number. It's RNG-100D-NEW for new. Yeah, this is their newer style as of a couple of years ago. It's where they cut the cell down, which gives you a higher amperage. I don't think it's a higher voltage panel. I think it's a lower voltage. Yeah, it's a 20 volt open, yeah, open circuit 20 volt. It's a higher current. Yeah, I think that's the way they did that. So this is what I'm going to put in here temporarily to replace what I took out. I took out those two that are on the back of the 65 right now. And I'm going to put that there just to keep the battery topped off. And I'll be wiring that down. And I'm working on this still. And I'll give you more updates pretty soon. But they're not going to be sitting like this. I'm working on my frame design, how I'm going to do everything. I got these little hooks installed right here. There's little hooks. It's what I use for ladder tray. I don't know if you can see that. These hooks right here. I don't know if that's showing up on the video, but you can kind of see the other hook on the other side. And I'm going to run that aluminum angle iron across the front of here. And then I can tie the panels to the angle iron. And then I'll have a cable going across to support the front of these panels. And then I got to come up with something on the back. I'll probably support the back from the bottom to push up a little bit on the back of the panels. In a perfect world, I would have holes right here where I need them, but I have holes right here that won't give me any leverage. So I don't want to drill another hole for this project, but I'm going to brace it from the bottom. So that's what I got so far. And when I come back, maybe I'll have them mounted completely. I don't know. This is what I came up with. I'm going to use the solid aluminum across the front. I ended up drilling a hole in the corner there like that. And then it's hooked to these hooks here. And that'll give me front support. And then I'll just have to work on the back support. I don't want the panels coming too far close to the cab because I'll get shading again. So my goal is to have the panels as far back as possible and still be touching this frame here, the support frame. So that's the update so far, and next time maybe we'll have the back brace going. We don't know yet. This is what I ended up with. This is the center of the solar panel array, and it goes down to this little beam here, support beam really close to the shocks. I don't think that's coming out in the video very well, but that's what I ended up doing. Another spring, a little pulley, and it allows you to tension the cable really good. And I did the same thing right here. I don't know if you can see that. Same concept there on the left and the right. And all I need to do now is do some wiring, put an MC4 connectors on, 2 of them. I got that right there so it doesn't rattle. There's the rubber isolation. So I need to put 2 more rubber isolations, and that's it. And what's cool is this whole array, it's tensioned, so it's not going to ever get loose. And I even have the springs tied up just in case something were to happen. I wouldn't lose a spring going down the road, so somebody wouldn't get a spring in their windshield. I need to do that one as well, so I'll tie these springs up so that those springs can't rattle loose accidentally, but there's tension on it. That's just kind of overkill, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So there's the update so far, and I guess the next one will be, I'll show you some wiring, and then we'll be seeing how much power it's going to produce. Of course, the sun is going to be at a pretty harsh angle, so probably only get about 6 amps, but we'll see. So here's what I ended up with right there. Let me turn around here. I think it turned out pretty good. When I shut the tailgate, it'll look like they're just floating there. But it's a 3-spring, 3-pulley system. I don't know if you can see, there's a spring and pulley on the left, right, and the center, and I'll do more of a close-up. This is just stuff I had around the house. So you can see the spring and the pulley system right there with the J-hooks. And that allows you to tension the spring with that pulley there. Gives you a little bit of leverage. Got one in the center right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I got one on that side. So they're just floating there. And they are all on isolators. So everything where metal touches metal or aluminum, everything's got a rubber isolator. So there's not going to be any rattling. You move it around, it doesn't do anything. I might eventually put a PVC pipe on the very back here to stop that resonant frequency right there. It'll go from somewhere like right here to in here where you really won't see the pipe, or maybe tucked in there just a little bit more, but probably from here to there eventually. But for now, I'm just going to see what it does. So that's what it looks like. And can't shut this tailgate. Well, I guess I can shut the tailgate now. It's going to be a little challenging. Let's see if we can do this. So this is the way the old school stuff works. I'm having to crush my glasses to do this. So then we got to get this up out of the way right here, and then we can push it there. I'll latch it later. So that's what it looks like. Of course the latches are hanging down, but you're not going to really be able to see it from another vehicle. You can a little bit, but that's turned out pretty good. No wood in the project, and that was the goal. Just aluminum and galvanized stuff and tie wire and Cat 5 wire and the rubber isolator. I found an old mat. So I think it turned out pretty good. And again, it's got enough power to keep the stereo going at full blast and a laptop. When you turn on the headlights, of course, then it doesn't have enough power, but you're not going to be running your headlights during the day. And at nighttime, it's not going to do any good anyway because there's no sun out. So the headlights is not even a factor, but I do it just for a load test. So that's it. And I'll take some overall pictures, and I think that project is done. I need to clean the panels. They're a little dirty. But they were putting out 6.5 amps earlier. Can't remember. I'll have to go back and look on the video. Well, that's it. Next project will probably be changing the oil and then work on the tires. So I might do that in reverse. But I like the way it turned out. They're just floating there. And it looks a lot better than it used to. I mean, look at the beginning of the video where you can see the beginning pictures. And now look, they were just laying in there, and they would have already been in the shade. That's the whole thing. It's not often that function and fashion meet up. I'm usually definitely function over fashion, but this time both have met, and that's kind of exciting because before they would have already been shaded because they were down there really low. And then I couldn't put anything in the bed. Now I can put a floor in this thing however I want to, and still keep stuff under there protected if I needed to, like a cooler or something. So yep, function and fashion turned out to work this time. They worked together, synergy. Here's a perfect example of why the panels up higher floating is good, because the system is still in charge voltage there. Right there at when I turned it down, it jumped up to 15.4. Now it's going leveling out at 14. Now it's boost, so it's finding its happy spot, and it's putting out 1 amp now. Now it's just trickle charging, and that means the batteries are getting close to 14 something, 14.5, 14.2. So now they're at 14, 14.3. There we go. So when I turn it up here, we're going to see that the voltage will go down, but it compensates. So we're able to run the system even in the evening sun, and the solar panels are doing what they need to do. They could not have done that before with them down here getting shaded. That would not have happened. So this was definitely a good upgrade, and I still need to clean them. They'll put out a little bit more when they're clean, so I'll probably do that before I roll it in the garage. And I'm done with this project. Like, share, subscribe. It's free and it helps the channel.